Gavitt games are here, and puts us against one of the elite programs in the country. It's interesting to. The Big East had a great year last year. Obviously, UConn won the national championship, and yet the team we're playing tomorrow night beat them twice. This is a very, very good basketball team. They return 86 or 87% of their production. I think they have the outstanding point guard in the country, or one of them anyway. He's right there at the top. And then they've got a center in Oso, who I think is obviously a next level guy. And both those young guys, I say young guys, both of them are old guys, and they've been around. They've seen a lot. And obviously, Kolek was the league MVP last year, and deservedly so. He's both of those young men are excellent passers. They're very high IQ. And then you put Cam Jones, who I think is the most underrated guard in America, next and with them. He's an elite shooter, 6'5". He's got great range, and nobody talks about him because of the other two, and that's not fair. He's a terrific player. So, they play extremely hard. They're efficient on offense. They play very, very fast. It's a game we're going to have our track shoes on. They're elite in transition. They take a ton of early threes. They make a lot of them. And if you give them easy baskets in transition, it can be a long night. They can score 100 very easily, the way they get going sometimes. So transition D's got to be an important piece. We've got to run great offense, and then we've got to continue to guard. I was really pleased after the Oakland game, very pleased with what we did defensively. We can't rest on that. I think we had 11 straight possessions without them scoring, especially from the 8-minute mark on. Very good. It was a very low possession game. I think we had 61 or 62 possessions. A lot of credit goes to Oakland in that area, but it was also a game that I thought we got the shots we wanted. We had a tough night shooting it. We won't do that most nights, and we were 1.3 OER in the second half, and finally shook loose there and made some threes. So great challenge tomorrow night. Excited. November. Have a top 5 opponent in our house, and it'll be a great opportunity for our program.
Being the end of the Gavitt games, do you expect these types of non-conference matchups in the future just to be on the schools themselves to get them together?
Yeah, I think that they've been great for basketball. This series has been great for both leagues. I think it's been an interesting time that we'll have to wait and see what conference scheduling looks like in the future. You could see an expansion of more conference games. I don't know yet. But I think it's been very beneficial for us just in my time here. And I always go back to the year Nebraska, I think, was a double bye and didn't get into the tournament. We jumped to 20 games. We're playing these 2 games, with the Gavitt and what was the ACC. So we had really quality non-league opponents, and now we go to 20 games and we're getting 7, 8, 9, 10 teams in. So playing opponents like this is extremely beneficial. We're going to continue to do that. We always like to play great competition anyway, but I think teams will have to continue to search for quality opponents, and it's been great because they're home and home. We get to take care of our fans.
Coach, over these first 2 games, what'd you learn about which lineups gel more than others?
It's been different every game. It really has. It's been, the one thing I've been really proud of is, going back to the Kansas exhibition, and it was the last 5 minutes of that game, the last 8 minutes of this game. We just kind of found a group, and for different reasons. Offensively, it was really good in the Kansas game, and defensively, it was great in the Oakland game. So It's kind of a by feel. I like where we're at. I like the depth we're developing, and we're still a little unsettled in roles. But guys got to keep practicing hard, and we're doing that. Guys got to keep pushing each other, and we're doing that. I love where Justin Harmon had a great day today, and Luke Goody's shooting the cover off of it, and Dane Deja's strung together two of his best practices of the year. So, I like what that gives us, and I'm excited about that.
The team talked about defense as an identity after the last game. With this challenge against Marquette and their offense, how much is that going to teach you about your defense and establishing that identity?
Yeah, I mean it's a unbelievable challenge. As I thought it was really going into the to the Oakland game. There's a team that took 36 threes in their game before, and you've got to limit those. We didn't want to get beat at the 3-point line. This is a team that has elite passing. They're an elite cutting team. So I think you can't relax away from the ball, and I think those are two of the important things that we talk about fundamentally. And then again, it's you're only as strong as your weakest link, and no matter who's in the game, a team like Marquette, because of their ability to pass it, will pick on your weak link. And we've got to make sure that we've got whoever's in the game is dialed in, and if you're not, they'll exploit you.
You were really happy with Terrence's defense against Oakland, but when one of your top guys is kind of committed to that side of the ball, like that will kind of trickle down effect does that have on the other four guys?
Yeah, it's a big reason that we're as good as we are is the job Terrence does defensively. His commitment level on that end is extremely high. He's pushing it every single day. The other guys in practice, he and Justin get going at each other, and they make each other better. That becomes very, very contagious. And Terrence has become much more vocal. It reminds me a lot of the year we had Andres and Io and Trent, and they just went at each other every single day in practice and got very competitive, and the juices get flowing, and that becomes what we want. That becomes the everyday guy's mentality.
Is there a difference maybe prepping for Marquette? Because there's a few changes over the last couple of years, but this is roughly the same team that Shaka's had.
Yeah, the biggest changes don't have anything to do with maybe it's much more the game we just played compared to the game we're getting ready to play. The game we just played was in the 60 possessions and low 60s, and this one's a track meet. They play very fast. Everybody knows what they're going to do. They know what we're going to do, and it's just a matter of they're really good and can you stop it? Like I said, they're one of the best teams in the country at taking advantage of your mistakes because of their ability to pass. And Oso is a point center, and he can really handle it. He can pass it, and then they surround him with shooters. And then on the defensive side, they do a great job of covering for each other. They're well connected on that end of the court, and make things hard for you. So yeah, it's a fun group to watch play because you see how connected they are, and obviously having 87% of your scoring back allows for that.
We might focus on who brings the ball up or initiates offense, but Ty in that guard spot defensively, how has that impacted you guys so far?
Yeah, it's been big because we've been able to do a lot of switching, and I think one of the things that Ty gives us there is he's the strongest guy on our team. At the point guard spot, the guy is physically very, very strong. He doesn't get rolled up. He's a very good rebounder. He's got great feet, and then he's got great length, and so the point guard spot defensively is challenging because you receive so many ball screens that you have to be a great listener, and then you've got a process. And he continually is getting better and better in those coverages and understanding that piece of it. But yeah, a lot of what we've put in is scheme-wise is based on his ability to guard any position.
You look back at that jumbo lineup you had late in the game. What did you like about what that gave you?
Yeah, the best thing was there was a group that didn't make mistakes. We were error-free in that stretch. And, then on the other side of it, we found a way to run really good offense. We got on the offensive glass. There was a tremendous amount of opportunities to score at various levels. Okay, it wasn't just shooting threes. It was Terrence hit a couple, Quincy hit one. It was the offensive glass. It was we got to the free throw line. And that's a hard group to handle just because of their size and strength.
See anything same that of the slow starts? Anything that's
No, it's weird. I don't know. And again, we haven't talked about it a ton. Really, two of their shots they hit were really hard and really well contested. I thought we took a quick one, but yeah, I think more just try not to make too much of it, and we hope we don't do that tomorrow. You can be down pretty quick to a team like Marquette.
Both teams are getting points out of the bench. Is that a key stat for you?
Sure. Yeah, I hope it's one of our big advantages this year, and obviously we feel great about what Draven gives us off the bench. He gives us elite scoring punch. He's a guy that can really, really get going offensively, and I have tremendous confidence in him on both ends of the court. I think that Justin's a guy that can give us some points and give us some feel, and obviously Dane gives us a different look than Coleman in terms of post presence. So very excited about what that group's starting to give us. And Luke Goody, obviously an elite perimeter shooter, helps stretch that floor.
Talked for months about how Marcus just does not get sped up in a game like this with what Shaka wants to do. How key is that going to be?
It's important. You've got to handle the initial thrust of them, whether it's in the press, whether it's in their half court. They'll mix up, play a little bit of zone. They'll play man. They'll play at the level in their ball screen coverages. Sometimes they'll switch. It's you see a hodgepodge of different things, and they're very connected. And then, Kolick has the ability to kind of roam around and float on the defensive side. But you've got to be poised. It's a ball tough game. They're handsy. Mitchell's an elite defender, got great hands. So you got to be ball tough, strong, and be patient enough that understand there might be some possessions under 10 seconds when you have to keep moving the ball and executing offense.
Is there a balance? I know offensive rebound, you said you wanted more after Eastern versus what they can do in transition. How do you approach that?
Yeah, the best transition D is offensive rebound. Make them get it out of the net. Go. I think one of the things that we've really struggled with is just finding I say struggle, it's too big is we've just laid on backs. We've been there. And then we've just accepted a block out. And, my good offensive rebounding teams don't accept a block out. But, we haven't been hurt. Kansas got us once or twice maybe in transition. And we've got to do a great job because, again, they're going to shoot. They're going to run wide. They're going to shoot threes. They look for Jones, especially in transition. And you've got to take that part of their game away.
I mean, with kind of being a different, maybe closing group in those first two games. I mean, at some point, do you maybe want things to be settled, or are you okay this season?
I want to win. I don't care what that takes. I think that's one of the nice advantages. I got a pretty good feeling if Terrence is not in foul trouble, he'll be on the court. I think, Coleman's not in foul trouble, he'll be on the court. I think you've got we're developing some confidence in guys at the free throw line, Marcus, and and different things. But every game is a little bit different. And that sometimes you may need a little more offensive punch. Sometimes you need like the other night, it was strictly defense. I mean, that group. There's no way I was taking Quincy Guerrier out of that game. There was no way I was taking Terrence out of that game. We found Ty was locked in and on the offensive glass and rebounding, and there was no way I was taking those guys out in those moments. So every game's got a little different feel, and it's nice to be able to have your best players doing it at both ends. And we're depth is an advantage for us, so we can hopefully find that right group every night.
Do you feel differently going into your first big test of the regular season, knowing you've already seen a top 5 team on your home floor?
It helps. It helps. It's a different environment when one's an exhibition, and it's a little more jovial, and it had still had great buzz. But this one counts in the one loss column. It's a little different from the fact that even though Kansas had 4 or 5 guys back, still a big part of their team was a new player or two. This one's got everybody back, and for the most part, so they're a little different feel from that side of things. But we know we can compete and play. We did that with Kansas, obviously, and we're going to have to be better than that to win tomorrow night.
Is that all?
Thank you.
This one,